British accent, I'm like, oh, this guy's probably an author.
Yeah.
You know,
it's probably William Shakespeare.
My old roommate Joe, he played rugby, and he had all these rugby friends, and one of his friends was this British guy, and I hung out with him. I mean, we were drinking or whatever, but I hung out with him like a handful of times, and it took until like the 5th time. I'm like,
to realize he's retarded.
This guy's like a mental fucking invalid.
Yeah,
yeah, totally.
He's like beyond. You know, I was like, "What'd you do today?" He's like, I don't." What today? You mean? You know.
Yeah, Colum is Irish, and I everything. Anytime he says a word that's like more than one syllable, I'm like, "Good job, big boy."
I know. I think I've showed people. There's a clip of him doing stand up from like 15 years ago or something, a long time ago, and he like had to learn the English language.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like. If you go look at older shit, he's just unintelligible.
Yeah, but it's not like he's saying words. It's like even in even in
Gaelic?
you know what I, whatever. Yeah,
Does he
Gaelic.
speak Gaelic?
No, it's just like it's just like and then it'll be like
he speaks Shangillis.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
have
that's
this-
part of the problem too. Is he's learning English from people from
Right.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. He's learning Philly.
I mean,
That's
there's
so
one joke
funny.
where he uses the word velocity, and the entire audience erupts just because they're like, "Holy, we never could guess."
Velocity. Velocity. Well, how's he say it?
Velocity.
Velocity.
The velocity, like that.
Velocity.
They laugh at
No,
that.
you're still Australian.
Velocity, mate.
Velocity.
Not bad.
Not bad. It's so
We were
funny.
laughing about a British moron recently.
That might be your finest work, Nick.
What do you mean?
Your characterization was also so good.
What do you mean?
You're like a Guy Ritchie character.
Because if you think about it, that's when you know a British guy's about to
think
say
about
the
it.
dumbest fucking shit in the world.
If you think
If you
about it.
think about it, really. If you think about it, really.
Really?
Wee wee.
I'm British,
Really?
I'm Chinese, and I'm from the Lower East Side of New
I'm
York
Guy.
City. If I think about, you know, what we doing here. We're sitting around playing mahjong under a laundromat all day long.
Yeah.
We might as well be back in fucking China. You think they ever think that?
You think that
You think they do?
in it?
In it, I got my. Did you hear about this George Floyd fella? He was nicking quids at the drugstore. The coppers got him.
Why do we have
That's
no
what-
British people here? Why do we only have Australians everywhere?
What, in New York City?
Yeah.
We.
I don't know. There used to be that.
Well, it was because the visa program, because they support us in Iraq.
Real quick, I'll just say the words MyBookie,
MyBookie.ag if you want to bet on shit.
and then we'll come back to it. But
Go to MyBookie.ag, promo code CUMTOWN or CUMTOWN20.
there was a British comedian named Tom something, who's a nice guy when I moved here. And I don't know if he's around anymore, but I remember he had a joke that made me laugh. And I don't know if he ever did it more than once. I just saw him do it in an open mic. But he's like talking about complaining about his wife being like, my body's saying that I have to have a baby. You know, and he's like, well, why are you listening to your fucking body? He's like, my body's telling me to fuck a 14-year-old.
Yeah, that's good.
Funny.
That is good.
But it's never, that will never do well with an audience.
Yeah, that's blue.
Well, I'm going to make comedians laugh, but looking at a grown man saying he wants to fuck a 14-year-old on stage is
It's a bit.
no,
tough.
you can. It can be done. It can be done. Remember when Louis did the whole?
not, maybe Louis did it, but not British Tom.
Did the whole what? Used his power?
Did the whole SNL thing about like obviously fucking kids is better, but we don't do it. I mean, it's like
Oh, yeah, he did it for the monologue, right?
it was really good. It was maybe his finest work.
Well, he took a gamble like you can
At MyBookie.ag.
MyBookie.ag.
Guys, we got a big sports season. NFL season is back. The NBA is coming back. You can go there. You can bet. You don't have to download an app. It's all online. You can use Bitcoin. They have casino, table games. You can bet on races. You can bet on Indian.
You know
African.
football, and you
Yeah.
pick winners all the time. So why not get paid for them at MyBookie? Bet single game spreads, money lines, or parlay multiple. Do you do sports betting?
No,
Do these words mean anything to you?
no.
Single game spreads,
I know what
money
that is.
lines, or parlay multiple together.
Parlay is a combination of different bets. to increase the odds. So if you
Like
get
a
all of
S&P
the bets,
500.
I know what a spread is, but
No.
what's a money? What's a money line?
money line is just to pick the winner outright.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that's the simplest one.
yeah.
Interesting.
But you get the lowest odds for that.
Well, they got low contest entry fees and over $500,000 to be won. Make it so you don't have to be a pro gambler to have fun.
I tried to bet on a baseball game in Boston recently. You couldn't do it. Is it illegal?
I think you just have to do it.
No, they have
online.
gambling there now.
In Boston.
They have a win now in Boston. I went with Caleb when I was there in February.
It was a baseball game. Awful sport. Horrible sport
Baseball?
to watch. Oh my god!
It's nice
the most
to go
boring
to.
thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Oh,
It's
like
nice to
baseball?
go to.
Fun hang, but
Yeah. You
watching
go,
this
that's what makes
actually-
it fun.
You're outside,
Holy
you drink
shit.
beer.
I mean, you wouldn't go to a baseball game by yourself and sit there with your fingers.
I saw
watching
I
the
saw
game.
people doing that.
Those men have a mental disorder.
Yeah,
I think they do. They were
autistic.
writing things down in a book.
We went to
Yeah,
what was
they're keeping score.
Yeah,
That's
what
it's
is that?
called.
We
Yeah.
went. Remember we went to
It's
that Yankees game.
Yeah, the
There was
autistic
there was,
black
there was
guy,
this
yeah.
autistic black guy on the bus back.
Yeah, stop.
We saw an autistic black guy, and
Yeah.
the guy who opens for me goes, "That's employable man. That's the most employable man that's ever lived."
So I was
Stav's
wearing an Orioles
he's wearing an
shirt,
Orioles
yeah.
shirt, and this guy's like, the Orioles.
June
They don't
1st
even-
through 3rd.
They don't play. They're
Yeah.
not playing. They're not playing the Orioles until. They're not a series against the Orioles until June 1st through the 3rd. You know.
He had like 7 backpacks.
And
yeah.
watching like Stav doesn't have patience for regular people, but watching him try to interact with his fucking.
He just
You know,
laughed.
being like that. No, that's okay, buddy.
That
nice.
was a fun day. Oh yeah, Phil got us those tickets through Sony. Anyway, guys, mybookie.ag is
Getting started is easy. Just
Okay,
visit
go ahead,
mybookie.ag and use promo code CUMTOWN or CUMTOWN20 or TAFS or the Adam Friedland Show or whatever it is.
whatever. Figure it out.
On your first deposit
You'll get
to
a
secure
bonus.
a double deposit bonus. That's promo code, what I just
I'm
said,
gonna get a Tums.
to get your first deposit matched dollar for dollar all the way up to $1,000. MyBookie is a proven sports book that makes it simple to bet and win. So make this your winning season exclusively at MyBookie. That'll have to do. I'm too tired to inject.
How long have
any-
you guys been here?
been here today?
Yeah.
I was on the phone with my accountant all morning, and so I got here around noon.
Have you recorded a bunch of episodes?
No, I've just been doing like this shit and then slowly putting this all up. But I got just that pipe,
What's that pipe for?
hanging lighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lighting is all the. I mean, we have to get like lighting guys in the DP in here, but they have like a specific way. All like this lighting equipment and shit, it was invented by like illiterate people 100 years ago. So like these stands and stuff, that was all, just some guy that came up with it. But that's the equipment that everything uses. So there's this strut channel up there. And the strut, you can do cool stuff with strut channel. Like you can put little trolleys in there and move stuff around, and you can clamp whatever to strut channel. But
Oh yeah, I've hung these for light fixtures in art galleries.
Yeah, but
yeah, you click them in
Nice.
and pull them out.
for film production, they need that pipe, so that gets clamped to the
Dude,
strut
we
channel.
went to the Tonight Show. We went to whatever what is it, 30 Rock?
No, it's actually Adam Friedland show.
the Adam
I
Friedland
know
Show.
it looks a lot like.
Their ceiling, it was packed. Every single square inch had a different light on it, like a different.
It's going to be like that here.
It was chaos. It was really cool, but it was nuts.
Yeah.
One of our buddies stood up and cheered for Mike and like busted his head hard on
Yeah.
one of the lights.
Well, that's
Mike
what I
was
want to
crazy.
do.
Mike
That's
who?
what I want to do.
Roland, my roommate.
I want to get like just
He
a
got
bun-
it? He deserved it or
It was
no?
so.
He crushed?
Yeah, he did great, but it's so weird going into those places because it's like,
Because Fallon's drunk?
yeah, for sure. I mean, he literally came up to me and went, "Nice to see you again," and I was like, "No way, buddy." But
Damn.
nice.
That's alcoholism.
Yeah, he
Dude, I
looked,
can't
but
wait
he
to
felt
be
way
there.
more kindred than everybody else there was like
He's-
a bizarre.
People with dementia do that. My grandma does that. I see her. And I'm like, hey. She's like, yeah, sure.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My grandma was an absolute cruel, mean woman. And then she got Alzheimer's and she became so nice. It was incredible.
yeah, that's
She'd
the best.
just be
that's
like,
what I'm
have you
hoping for.
eaten? You look incredible.
That's all I want.
She was like, "It's great to see you."
My grandma's been like drunk forever. So like, like I think somebody normal will get Alzheimer's and they're like, I used to run a business and now I have a diaper, and they're furious. It's like, did you see that movie, The Father? I actually hated it.
Was that Anthony Hopkins?
The Anthony Hopkins movie.
I didn't watch it.
I thought it was like, I mean, I guess it is probably an accurate portrayal of like bad Alzheimer's, but it's just like kind of a heartless movie.
Yeah.
It'd be like watching a movie called like The Burn Victim.
Oh,
and it's somebody just like,
What's that?
For like 2 hours.
What's that documentary about that country music guy who's like starting Alzheimer's?
Yeah, Glenn
Campbell.
Glenn Campbell.
Yeah, it's sad.
And it like follows him around as he's
Dude,
getting.
yeah, it's
sad.
as he's getting dementia. But what's crazy is like he doesn't. He's like introducing his daughter on stage, and he can't remember her fucking name. And then they put a guitar in his hands, and he's just going.
Crushes.
Like that's still there.
Don't you guys have that though with people now? I'll have that where somebody I know so well walk up to me, and I'm like, surely your name isn't,
I don't know anyone.
Caterpillar.
I don't know.
Did you
anyone.
live in Nashville?
Yeah.
I see. They told me that when I was down. I didn't realize that.
You lived there?
For a year.
It's the worst place I've ever been.
Dude, it sucked.
Actually,
It's rough.
Portland's worse. I decided
Really?
worse.
East Nashville is where I lived, which is like where all the musicians and it's like the hipster part, which is fun. But if you go anywhere near the city, it's
Dude,
a name.
I went down.
That's why I moved.
Santa's Pub.
That Broadway, it was like
Fast.
walking through like it was like I had been in. It was like probably what Ground Zero was like in 9/11.
Yeah.
like
So
just
funny.
walking around. There's just fucking like the emotional equivalent of ashes filled with chemicals.
Did you
just
see
going-
the bombing site?
No, I didn't go to that.
There was I walked past it with Racine, but the bombing happened right outside of a Dick's Last Resort restaurant, which is very funny.
I'm walking down the street. I'm standing next to a souvenir shop and like a shitty barbecue restaurant, and then one of a million like live ass fucking music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Mustang Sally blaring out of or whatever bullshit. And this guy with a fucking backpack on, I'm waiting to cross the street, and he comes up and he's like, "Here we go again." And I'm like, "I guess." And he's like, "Yeah, the party never stops." I'm like, "Just fucking stop. Just stop."
God, imagining you there is so good. I wish I was there.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I said it on the show, but again, it's an hour after that. They got those like pedal trolleys.
Yes, I know the pedal trolleys with
Yeah,
the
where
fat
they
girls
drink.
on them.
There was a
Yes.
crew of fat women in front of me with the dumb, Looney Tunes cowboy clothes on.
Yeah.
They're walking down the street. The pedal trolley goes by, and it's just fat boomers on the pedal trolley.
Yeah.
And these women, they're just wooing at everything. Woo! Just fucking me. And so they woo at the pedal trolley, and this like 50-year-old guy in gas station sunglasses and like the goatee, 90s goatee, looks over. He's like, "We from Florida, we know how to do this shit." And then there's maybe this like brief moment in his face where it's like, am I just like humiliating
That's just a
myself?
thing to say.
Yeah, but no, it's fine because you're in Nashville
And
where
he's
everyone's
drunk.
everyone's this fucking embarrassing.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I moved from there. The comedy scene is like too small, but also it's like it has all my best friends in that place, so it was hard to move. But it got to a point where it was like anytime we went out, it was like we were going to some honky tonk thing where all the women would dress up as prairie wives, and all the men would become miladies and like slick their hair back with like whatever that shit is called, Dapper Dan. You know what I mean?
Pomade.
Yeah. And it was so gay. It was so cringe every time we left our neighborhood that I was like, I don't know how you guys are all. And people
Yeah.
would come up and be like, "Can I have this dance?" And you're like, "How are we?
Yeah.
The Civil War is over.
Right.
That's
What are we
nice.
doing here?"
Yeah.
No, it was
No,
bad.
that's how you treat a woman.
But then it's also too, it's
That's
like
nice, Jordan. Jordan, come on.
Your soft
They're just
ASMR voice. Is
Jordan, they're just being.
no, it's brutal.
They're just trying to find love in
They
a
all have
hopeless
bandanas.
play.
How'd they get the most worn bandana ever?
and there's
Where
no
do you get those?
there's no like through line with the culture there because they're like they're like, "Ma'am,
Yeah.
I hope you're having a nice afternoon," and then they're standing in front of like a Patagonia.
Yeah, they're an app developer who's fucking wearing suspenders.
They were when I was there. They said post COVID, it just got flooded with L.A., Chicago, and New York people.
That's
In
what
Nashville?
in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
those
they all
aren't
moved
those
there.
aren't L.A., Chicago, and New York people, because L.A., Chicago, and New York people live in L.A., Chicago, or New York.
No, people that work remotely and don't want to pay state tax.
And then those people suck. They're people
Yeah.
that leave here because they're like, New York is
Doo-doo ass
New York
people.
doesn't have enough
Yeah.
souvenir shops and fucking
Yeah.
dumb clothes for me to put on.
Isn't Jack White?
I was
lives
about
there.
to say the worst part of Nashville is Jack White. He listens to
fuck-
this podcast.
You fucked him?
My friend that you met the other day.
Jack White
Harry.
is listening?
No, not Jack White. Harry. I feel, but he and all my buddies have worked for Jack White, and it's like he is like the cringiest.
What are you talking about?
Doofus.
Have you heard Seven Nation Army? It's badass.
Listen, I loved White
That's
Stripes before I
badass.
moved there. Oh, one time I worked at a taco shop and he came up to the window and we were like, "We're closed, sorry."
Uh-huh.
And he just stood in front of the window. I mean, just like waiting. And one of us had to go out and be like, "I mean, we really can't. We're not gonna like fire up the ovens." And he like stormed off. He also is like, I don't know, has a monopoly on so much shit in Nashville that it's so strange. And didn't he like shit all over Detroit, but then like
He's
went
from
back?
there.
Yeah, but didn't he move and he was like, "Fuck Detroit," and then he like went back and like
I would
opened it.
if I was from Detroit, I would never turn my back.
Detroit's a cool city.
I wouldn't turn my just because if you turn your back, you probably get
And I'm
stabbed.
finally.
Come on.
I'm
I'm
finally.
sorry.
Come on,
I'm
Jordan.
sorry.
I'm finally a Chicago guy. Last time
No
I
way.
went.
Whoa,
I
No
loved it.
way.
whoa.
I've been a bunch, but like the last time I went, I
No,
finally
that's-
Really, you don't mind musical comedy and people just the Cat in the Hat stepping on stage and being like, "Here's my
well, maybe
political jokes."
I didn't see any of that, so maybe it
No,
wasn't.
it's just fat New York. It's
He-
just New York for fat people.
That would be good, but I
I'm
guess
being
I just
a bitch right now.
I would love it to be fat New York. That's ideal. I would love that. But this
Uh-huh.
is like, I feel like Chicago has the gayest comedy I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
They
it's
used to have good comics. I mean, it was like a huge scene.
totally. But the alt doesn't have, it should be
Really?
segregated how it is in New York. It's very segregated.
I
You
guess
stay at Union Hall.
I don't. I mean, I know the guys that would like. I just know fucking Kyle and Dan, the guys at Lincoln Lodge.
Wait,
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about segregation in comedy. So you don't think black people and white people should be doing shows together?
I've been saying this since the 80s.
They run the
Miscegenation.
light. They run the light.
But they're doing well.
It is,
usually.
there almost is
They're
segregation in
crushing
comedy.
harder than you. And no.
There is like a no, but I do the alt comedy thing in Chicago where you can be have all these like traditional stand-ups and then all of a sudden somebody comes up with a guitar and it's awful.
Honestly, I'm a big comedy music apologist.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, you're like a
If
nice
you write
guy.
if you write a funny song, it's funny.
Also, is there even that much musical comedy anymore? I feel like 10, 15 years ago, that shit was fucking everywhere.
When I was a kid, I liked Steven.
What just happened?
Lynch.
What did you just do?
I have indigestion. I told you.
He's like, I really like Steven Lynch.
I mean, I haven't been back to Chicago for a while. Maybe I should go. I also was roofing there when I lived there. I lived
Oh,
there for 3
okay.
months and I was in
You were
hell.
roofing.
I was roofing.
No, I had a couple of days where I just went for
It's
very
pretty.
long walks. Just
It's
cruising.
pretty.
Yeah, I went for a run there and I
Yeah.
remember being like, I'm on the beach. Now I'm in the residential. Now I'm in the city.
I wanted to walk to the bar from Thief, the bar that he owns where he takes phone
Oh,
calls.
cool. Yeah.
And then I couldn't. My phone died, so I couldn't make it that far. But
I can't stop thinking about the guy at the bar that you were talking about the other night with the sports thing. It's so funny. Where
Oh,
you were like,
yeah.
where he was like, "Did you see that?" And he was like, "Yeah, totally."
What guy?
I don't even know if I should say it on the show, but me and Steven, like,
Oh yeah, you told me.
yeah, by
Yeah.
chance,
Uh-huh.
meet whatever.
That
I
guy.
can't just.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of a person just like a liar, just like a self, just like yeah, just.
His explanation made sense, but it was just
Uh-huh.
it was so funny in the moment. Yeah, I told Steven to meet me at we were like gonna go hang out, so I told him to meet me at Peter McManus
Uh-huh.
on
Yeah.
7th Avenue because it's over here. And Steven thought I said Peter McAnus,
Uh-huh.
and that I was like just making fun of Irish bars in general.
That's funny.
So it's like 20 minutes go by. I'm like, "Are you coming or not?" And he's like, "To where?" And I was like, "Peter McManus." He's like, "Oh, I thought you said Peter McAnus."
No,
He's like,
that's
I
a
thought it-
Steve. No, that's a Steven.
So we meet there.
Where he's late and he's like doing a bit too many times.
We meet there, and I don't like. It's like somebody on like the Broncos or the Seahawks is named McManus,
Yeah, Brendan McManus, the kicker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Steven sees that, and he's like, "Did you fucking see that, dude?" I'm like, "No." And then he looks over at this guy next to us. He's like, "Did you see that?" And this guy's by himself drinking, and he's like, "Yes, totally." And then Steven's like, "What's his name?" And he's like, I didn't catch it.
Dude, he is...
And I was like, that's an insane thing to lie
He is
about.
the absolute best guy to go to a bar with.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. That day where we went to International Bar in the middle of the day and we met that fucking union plumber and that cop, Steven was just like fucking on peak form.
Yeah.
He's incredible. I love that guy.
Have you met Steven? Our friend Steven.
He's our best friend.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
He looks like Sean Penn.
He looks exactly like Sean Penn.
And also the guy from what do you call it? That Rush. Getty
Lee. Yeah, he looks like Getty Lee and Sean Penn mixed.
Yeah. An ugly guy and a hot guy.
Bring him in here.